If you pull up a map of the global iGaming world, there's one country that just stands out as a massive contradiction. We're talking about Indonesia. You've got the fourth most populous nation on Earth, right? Nearly 280 million people. Digital adoption is, I mean, it's huge. And yet, when you look at gambling, any kind of gambling, the official stance is just a complete total ban.
It's an absolute paradox. You have this enormous digitally savvy population creating this incredible demand. And it's meeting this this brick wall of legal prohibition. And for you, the listener who shared our latest analysis, this is exactly what we're going to unpack. The Gambling Databases research team, our whole focus is on delivering these kinds of in-depth reports on the global landscape.
Right. In each one, we dig into everything. Local laws, tax, the player experience, what it's like for operators. And when we turn that data-driven lens onto Indonesia, the numbers were just, well, they were kind of shocking. We found an illegal market with a transactional volume of, what was it, roughly $25.79 billion. But at the same time, our operator e-score, it's a flat 0.0 out of 10.
A perfect 0. So the goal for us in this conversation is to figure out how that's even possible. How can a market generate billions while also being, completely and utterly hostile to any business?
So where do we even start with that? I guess it has to be the law itself.
You have to start with the legal reality, and it's important to be clear. This isn't a gray market. It's not a place with old, confusing rules. The law is crystal clear. Gambling is illegal, banned nationwide, period.
No ambiguity at all.
None. And this is really driven by deep-seated cultural and religious opposition. It covers everything. Land-based casinos, online slots, sports betting, you name it, it's banned.
That's a key distinction, right? Because in a lot of places that are technically illegal, the enforcement can be a bit spotty. They might raid a backroom poker game but ignore offshore websites completely.
Exactly. What makes Indonesia different, what makes the prohibition so absolute, is the enforcement structure. Since there's no path to getting a license, there's no regulator. The entire state apparatus is geared towards one thing: eradication.
And it's not just one group doing it.
No, it's the coordination that's unique. You've got multiple agencies all working together.
Okay, so you have the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Cominfo, I think they're called. They handle the digital side of things.
That's right. And they work directly with the national police. And this is the real kicker. With the entire financial sector, we're talking about Bank Indonesia and the Financial Services Authority, the OJK. When you have all of those agencies collaborating, the risk for any foreign operator goes from, say, difficult to just criminal.
So anyone serving Indonesian players is, in the eyes of the government, a specific designated illegal target.
Precisely.
Okay, so if that regulatory hammer is falling so hard, why are we even talking about a $25 billion market? It feels like that kind of rigidity should work, but it clearly doesn't if people are just ignoring it.
Well, the potential is just too massive to contain. The tech infrastructure is already there to support it. Yes, the population is huge at 280 million, but you have to look at the digital behavior. Internet penetration is sitting at about 77%. Mobile is even higher, something like 92%. Indonesians are online a lot.
Our data showed they spend, almost 7 hours a day on digital media?
An average of 6.7 hours, yeah. That's basically a full workday spent online. It makes mobile betting platforms, an almost irresistible product, even if it's illegal.
So that creates this huge pent-up demand.
Yeah.
And you've actually put a number on it.
We have. Our estimates suggest there are about 3 million active online bettors right now.
3 million people.
All participating in these various illegal betting activities. It's a fully functioning, massive black market that's just operating completely in the shadows.
Let's just put those numbers next to each other, because the difference is it's kind of absurd. If Indonesia legalized, say, simple online casino games, the projected legal revenue for 2025 is only about $13 million.
13.22 million. It's a rounding error. It's nothing. But the actual money flowing through that black market, the transactions from those 3 million players, we estimate it at 400 trillion rupiah.
And in U.S. dollars, that's the
$25.79 billion figure for 2024. Just to put that into perspective, that transaction volume is larger than the annual GDP of quite a few countries.
An immense shadow economy that's just thriving despite this total prohibition. So what are they playing? What are those 3 million people actually betting on?
It mostly follows the trends you see across Asia, but with a real emphasis on mobile convenience. Slot games are number one, by far. They're seen as Easy, fast, simple entertainment. After that, you see a lot of action in online poker and, of course, sports betting. Football and badminton are huge there.
And they're all accessing this on their phones using VPNs to get around the blocks, I assume.
Heavily. They're looking for apps that are super user-friendly, that load fast, and they absolutely rely on VPNs and proxy services to bypass the constant government blocking.
Which brings us to how the government is actually fighting back. You can't let a $25 billion shadow economy just run wild. What tools are they using?
They're fighting a war on two fronts: the internet itself and the bank accounts. On the internet side, Cominfo is incredibly aggressive. As of this year, they've blocked over 800,000 gambling-related URLs.
800,000.
And this isn't optional. It's mandatory for all the internet service providers. They are playing this endless game of digital whack-a-mole, just constantly chasing new mirror sites and cloaking tech.
Sure, but blocking websites feels like a battle you can't really win. A good VPN gets you around that pretty easily. The financial side, though, that sounds like they can really do some damage.
That is the crucial insight. The level of coordination between the financial regulators, the OJK, and the police is what really sets Indonesia apart. This isn't just about, seizing a bag of cash. It's about making banking impossible. In 2024 alone, they froze over 6,400 bank accounts linked to illegal gambling.
Wow, and the banks have to comply. They can't just turn a blind eye.
No, they are legally mandated to flag, to monitor, and to block any suspicious transactions going to or from these operators. This is the system's failure point for the black market.
Right, because if you can't move money, if you can't cash out, the entire business model just falls apart.
Exactly. Operators might be able to survive having their websites blocked for a while, but they can't survive having their bank accounts frozen. That constant financial disruption is the government's most powerful weapon.
Okay, but what about the players? In a lot of markets, the player is basically considered safe. All the risk is on the operator. It sounds like that's not the case here.
Not at all. Unlike markets where they only focus on the supply side, in Indonesia, the player is explicitly criminalized. Just for participating, you can face fines up to 500 million rupiah. That's over 32,000 US dollars.
32 grand for placing a bet.
And for repeat offenders, or if you're involved on a larger scale, you're looking at up to 3 years in prison.
So the risk isn't just losing your money. It's a genuine risk to your personal freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you win, you're not safe. Any winnings that land in your bank account can be seized by the authorities as proceeds of crime. Plus, you have zero, and I mean zero, legal recourse if an offshore operator just decides not to pay you. You are completely exposed.
And that kind of environment means operators have to be invisible. No advertising.
The ad blackout is total, and the police go after the marketing layer very aggressively. They target affiliates, influencers on Instagram, on TikTok, and they make very public arrests. The message couldn't be clearer. If you promote illegal gambling, you become a priority for law enforcement.
So you combine the internet blocks, the financial warfare, and criminalizing the player. It's a pretty brutal environment. This brings us to the reality check, the actual business risk.
And this is where our rating system really clarifies things. When we give an operator E-score of 0.0 out of 10, prohibitive, it means there is literally no legal path. There's no hope for a license, and you're facing maximum government hostility.
And the player access score.
That's only a 0.5 out of 10 rated illegal. It reflects those high barriers and the personal risk players are taking. So the overall market attractiveness score is, well, it's 0.2 out of 10. We categorize that as black market radioactive.
Radioactive, that says it all. So every single dollar an operator invests has to go towards evasion, not, building a good product.
That's right. For one of these black market syndicates, the cost of entry is incredibly high. We estimate the initial capital required is over $500,000. And none of that is for things like software licenses or marketing campaigns. It's all for cloaking tech, for a constant supply of new domains, for a network of disposable bank accounts to try and stay one step ahead of the freezes.
And even with all that investment, the financial countermeasures still get them.
Oh, absolutely. Our analysis suggests that these illegal operators lose somewhere between 20 and 30% of their total revenue just to payment friction.
20 to 30% gone.
Yeah, gone. Frozen accounts, fees for high-risk payment processors. The cost of just trying to move money is astronomical. It completely breaks the risk-reward model for any legitimate business.
That raises a really important question for, say, an executive at an international company. Is there a travel risk?
Yeah.
Can a director visit Bali for a holiday?
The travel risk for company directors and executives is rated as extreme. That's not an exaggeration. Indonesia has active extradition treaties with all the key regional partners: Australia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, China. They frequently coordinate cross-border raids to arrest suspects and bring them back to Jakarta for trial. It's a very real, non-theoretical risk of going to prison.
So the bottom line here is that the massive $25 billion number, it's
Yeah.
just a measure of demand. It's not an opportunity.
It is exclusively a market for criminal syndicates who are willing to risk serious jail time and who can absorb those massive operational losses. For anyone else, stay away.
So there you have it. A nation that, on paper, looks like a stunning opportunity. 280 million people, all on their phones, with a $25 billion transactional market. But in reality, it's a radioactive no-go zone because of this incredibly aggressive, coordinated enforcement across the internet, the police, and the entire financial system.
And that coordination is the key. Targeting the money is ultimately so much more effective than just trying to block websites.
It does leave you with one final thought, though. When you look at the sheer size of that illegal market, $25.79 billion, and you see the country's GDP per capita rising, it's around $5,400 now. What's the long-term cost to a government's own tax revenue when they choose total prohibition over, say, a carefully regulated and taxed framework? That is an enormous amount of money circulating completely outside the national treasury. It's definitely something for policymakers to think about.
It's a very expensive question that the current policy has no answer for.
For the full text of this report and all our other country analyses, you can visit our website at gamblingdatabases.com. We'll see you next time as we explore another corner of the global iGaming landscape.